Hi everybody, it's Sarah Griffith. Today I am going to teach you about Pinterest and how to use Pinterest in your business, as well as how to connect some of your blog posts to your Pinterest page. So what you can see currently is my Pinterest main profile. If you don't have Pinterest, you would first want to go to pinterest.com. You'll just need your email address and your name, and you'll want to create an account. Pinterest is all about pictures and recipes and do-it-yourself. Pinterest's target audience is, of course, women. I think it's 87% of their users are women, particularly women who are, 25 and above. A lot of moms are on Pinterest. You can find anybody on here. One thing that I think is kind of interesting is that the average income from somebody who uses Pinterest is $100,000 and up. So the woman who is on Pinterest, she is a little bit more affluent than others. You know, she can afford to buy things. A lot of companies are now going to Pinterest and they're using it to advertise for their products. It's really taken off. It's only been around probably, I don't even remember if it's 4 or 5 years, but it's relatively newer. And you can find anything on Pinterest, from crazy birthday party themes to fitness motivational quotes to recipes. You name it, it's on there. Now, Pinterest, whenever you are logged in, I'll just sort of show you how it works. So when you're logged in, you can search for anything. If you look right here, these are all of your different topics that you can search for. A lot of times when I run my challenge groups and I'm using inspirational fitness quotes, I go under quotes, and then I'll let it load here. I usually search for, I guess I clicked on outdoors. Let's see, quotes, and I usually type in like fitness quotes. Fitness quotes, fitness motivation, you can get creative, but what's going to happen then is a whole bunch of options will come up. You can choose to right click on it. When you open it up, right click on it. You can save that image. I have on my desktop, I have a folder for fitness motivational images that I keep in there, and that's nice because, you know, sometimes when I'm in need of a quote, I don't have to get on Pinterest and get distracted. I can simply pull it from my folder. I will say that while these are cool, it doesn't hurt to have your own pictures. So you might really like this quote. Like maybe you like one workout at a time, one day at a time, one meal at a time. Maybe you think that's cool. What you can do is take that wording and put it on one of your own pictures. You know, use Canva or use PicMonkey or Photify or something and make it your own. Always brand it. Like if you have a blog, like mine's sarahgriffith27.blogspot.com, I'm always putting that, on all of my picture links. So, just so that it's branding me, people might see it, but that way if it's on Pinterest and somebody looks at it, they know it came from my site and they can't, and not that they can't rip it off. People still use it, still crop out my stuff. I try to put it in places where they can't, but at least maybe, just maybe, somebody might see it and say, I wonder what's on her blog. And then they'd go up here, type in my blog address, and maybe go check it out. In my year of coaching, I have only had one, it's been a long day, I keep yawning. I've only had one customer so far that found me on Pinterest. She was a total random stranger. She found one of my meal plans, went to my blog, learned that I was a teacher, learned that I was busy, I was into education. She felt like she had a similar personality to me. She worked in Chicago. She thinks she was a professor. And not only did she buy a challenge pack off of me, but she said, excuse me, don't you get a discount if you're a coach? And I said, well, yeah, you do. And she said, well, I want to be a coach too. So she's been a coach with me since the fall, and now it's midwinter and she's still going strong. So you never know who you can find off of Pinterest. So keep that in mind. I'm going to show you now my profile. So in my profile picture, I use a picture that's also on my other social media sites. And the reason I do this is because I want people to realize it's the same person. So put a nice photo on there, be consistent with it. Put your name. If you have a link to a blog, put it in here, and then also put in a link to your Facebook account. That way they can connect with you on Facebook and send you a friend request. Sometimes when I have people repin my things, which I'll explain in a minute, if I go to their profile and I see that they have Facebook, I'll go to Facebook and I will add them as a friend. Sometimes that's how I gain new contacts on my Facebook list, is through people who have repinned my Pinterest things. More people are leery on that one because, you're probably not going to have any friends in common, and they may not realize that they pinned your pin, because I know on Pinterest I don't pay attention to who pinned my pin. So it can work, but just strategize. Be careful whenever you're doing this, because Facebook sometimes will question you and say, what are you doing? So anyways, you want that to be set up. You want to have a little tagline. So mine's mom, wife, teacher, and health and fitness coach, lover of clean eating and well-being. I don't specifically say in my bio that I'm a Beachbody coach. I don't want people to be turned off by that. Some people don't understand the value of what we do, so I leave it out. I certainly, if you look at my boards, you would know I'm a Beachbody coach, but I don't flat out say it. Now, boards are, you can create a board based off of a topic. And what I've learned is that the more creative your topics are, the more likely people will follow it. So instead of just saying recipes, say something like healthy recipes, or, gluten-free recipes, or whatever. Really get specific on your boards. So a board is a collection of pins, and a pin, let me show you how that works in case you're new to it. Let it load. So a pin is something that when you click on it, it's usually a picture, and it usually has a small description. It shows you where it was pinned from, so this cooking classy website, and it shows you how many repins it has, and if there's and repins means that somebody pinned it onto one of their boards. A heart means that they liked it, but they didn't repin it. So you can do that. You just click pin it, and Pinterest is telling me I already have this one, but you just click on the board and you can put it on one of your boards if you're trying to pin something. Now, this is a Greek yogurt ranch dip. So if I click on that picture, it's going to take me now to that external source. So you can pin anything from the internet onto Pinterest. It's pretty simple. So it's nice. It's a nice way to, basically Pinterest is a bookmarking site. If you had to classify it, it's a bookmarking site. So what I do is I try to find cool, clean eating recipes, and I pin them. Then I make them myself, and then I delete the pin. Like, for example, right here, I need to delete this. So I have, garlic parmesan chicken. I made it. I blogged about it, and I pinned it to my healthy eating board. So I don't want the other one on there anymore. See, there's mine. So when I click on this, I can click on a picture, and it should take you to enter here, should take you right to my blog, and it does. And there's my recipe. Sweet, right? Okay, so that's how, that's what that's about as far as pinning. You can also send pins to people. So if I wanted to send this to any of my fellow pinners, I could, and it goes through almost like as a message. Like Robin, one of my coaches, she sent me a message. Here it is. So she sent me a pin about like a kind of a dessert recipe. So anyways, those show up there. You can close out of them so you don't have them, but you can message on Pinterest. Each board, people can follow just a board, or they can follow you. So some of my boards have more followers than my other boards. And again, when you create your profile, don't just do like Beachbody. Don't just do healthy eating, Shakeology, and a program. If you want to really get followers, do boards on true things that you love. I have one for the home. I have holiday. That was when I just started. So some of these are more vague than others, but I have ones for specific holidays. I have stuff for style, gift ideas, soups, you name it. I probably have a board for it. And then I got specific down here. I have psoriasis on my scalp, so I created a board for that just because there are other people with psoriasis, and same with my thyroid. So I have a thyroid problem, so I made a board for it. And I also have polycystic ovarian syndrome, so PCOS board. I have a board for Beachbody coaching, which I actually did just start. So anytime I blog about Beachbody, I do pin it to this board. And my businesswoman quotes, I have a board for that because I love, love, love business, and I really love like empowering women quotes, especially since, you know, I'm working really hard to build my own business, and I find some of these quotes really motivating. So I pin them, and I'm getting more and more followers on this one, I've noticed lately. So I only have 72 pins there. Oh, excuse me, I'm working too hard. But 211 people are following that board. So when I go back to my profile, again, you'll see that, you know, there's lots of options. You can move your boards around if you want to move them closer to the top. I found I was really consistent with Insanity Max 30. I blogged about it every week on my blog, and I pinned everything I could possibly pin to Pinterest about it. All my meal plans, all my pictures, you name it, it went on my board so that people could click on this board and they could see my entire journey through Insanity Max 30. People are nosy. They like to see how it's going. They like to sort of follow you. So this was a way for them to kind of get everything. And what would happen when they'd click on one of those pictures is it would take them to my Insanity Max 30 week in review. So every week on my blog, I would just write about the week. I would write about my struggles. I would write about, you know, what went on in my life that week. And I was very public about my journey. And I think that some people are drawn to that. We love details and we love to be snoops on people's lives. And for me, blogging is a way for people to see the real me. You know, I can only express so much in a Facebook post, but when you read my blog, you get the real me. I don't hide anything. You know, I'm really open about my health. I'm really open about my, you know, my busy lifestyle, and I'm really truly genuinely me on my blog, and I've gotten a lot of people because of my blog, because people said, I love your openness. I love your honesty. So, I'm real on here, and I'm really real. As far as my meal plans, I always post them. A lot of times some of my coaches will say, why would you post your meal plan every week? Then they don't need a coach then. Why would you do that? No, people still need a coach. You can hand somebody this meal plan, they'll still fail. Okay, there are certainly people who will still fail, even if you told them to do exactly this. They don't have the workouts, they don't have the support. So don't worry about sharing your meal plans. Please do share them. In fact, those are some of my best repins from Pinterest. So let me see here. I'm going to go back. So back to Pinterest. Here we go. One of the things that I want you to realize, so anyways, I encourage you, I guess let me finish that thought. I encourage you to make a board for each program that you do, and yes, blog about your journey if you have a blog, which you should, and if you don't, I'll teach you how to do that. But blog about your journey and then post your pictures on Pinterest and make a board just for that. So I have 212 followers on that one. I have 48 pins. Go back to my profile now. One of the things, and I don't have a ton of followers. I have 347. If I were going to really get into this, which I need to, I would probably hire someone from Elance to get more followers on my Pinterest account. So that's something I do want to work on growing, because 347 really isn't that many people. Up here, this is your notifications, and every single time I log into Pinterest, I always have, usually a lot, I only have a couple right now because I just looked more recently, but this is showing you anybody who repinned your things, specifically if I always pay attention to see if they're pinning anything that's authentic or that's mine. That's why I've really tried to get away from pinning other people's things all the time and really pinning my own things, and not just pinning them on one. So like if I did a new Shakeology recipe, I'd put it on my Shakeology board, put it on Max 30, I'd put it on 21 Day Fix, because it's applicable to all of them. So I get that pin exposed in a few places. I want to show you this particular pin. Last February, when I did the 21 Day Fix, I put my meal plan up right away. I was like a first, those people who are like first followers where they start something and they do it, and they're really public about their journey. I was one of those people. So I made my meal plan. I did the fix right when it came out, and I pinned my meal plan on Pinterest. This is before I was even a coach. If you look at my pin for this meal plan, I wish I could tell you my secret, but I have 4,171 pins right now of that particular meal plan. If you were to go to my blog, let's see here, this takes you to my blog. So it'll take you to the 21-day fix section. There's the meal plan. When you get here, you're going to find other things from me. There's some movies. But what I want you to see, which is kind of cool, let me just log into the design view of my Pinterest account. So this is going to show you your top traffic sources. If I had to guess, I am willing to bet that that is, let's see, oh, that one's just showing me Pinterest. Let me just tell you this. So I'll go to pages. How about that? If you look at my pages, the different pages that I have on my blog, here they all are. This shows you how many visits you have received. If you look at my recipe, you know, I'm looking at 700. Pio's got like 1,300 views. Some of them are low. Look down here at my 21-day fix tab. I have had over 13,000 views on my 21-day fix tab. I can guarantee you it's because of that pin. I've really driven a lot of traffic to my blog because of it. So how do you do it, right? That's probably what you're starting to wonder. Okay, so this sounds interesting, but how? Let me get out of, I don't really need on Facebook. How do you do it? So let's go back to my Pinterest. Here's how I do it. Let me show you. So I have a newer recipe on my blog right now. So I'll go to the home screen. I did a Mediterranean rice noodle dinner. So I'm going to click on that particular post because that is, it has its own HTML. So if you look up there, see how it's specific to the Mediterranean rice dinner? So you want to always click on it so that you're taking the viewers to that particular page, not just your home page. So once you do your blog post, know that when you blog, the first picture that you put in by default becomes the picture that Pinterest uses. So if this is your best picture, make it be first. If I put that first, that's the only picture that's Pinterest is going to pick because they only pick one, but I'm going to show you how to get around that. So you type up, you know, if you do a recipe, type it all up. Down here, I use blogger.com and it gives me these social media tools. So one of them is Pinterest. So if I click on this, it's going to give me the option to pin this on my board. So of course I'll put this on the Healthy Eats board. So I'm going to write Mediterranean rice noodle dinner. We're getting ready for Lent, so I'm going to write great dinner idea for Lent. Super easy and really healthy. Gotta love it. Whatever. So put a description in there. And then I write, check out my blog for more clean eating recipes. www.sarah griffith27.blogspot.com. Now, to really cover all my bases, I use hashtags too. So I'd put hashtag 21-day fix, because it is fix approved. Put hashtag 21-day fix meal plan, hashtag 21-day fix recipe. I would put in vegetarian. I would put in Lent. So put a couple hashtags in there to populate your pin in other places. So then I would click pin it. And now that just pinned that recipe onto my Healthy Eats board on my Pinterest account, which is cool. So there it is. And what you're going to want to do, so if I click on this, again, taking me back to my blog. Now, as I told you, Pinterest only takes the first picture. What I did on like my Max 30 board is I would pin every picture that was part of my blog. So I might have 7, 8, 9, 10 pictures in each post. So I sort of cheat the system. So here's what I do. That recipe's right there. Say I wanted to add the other picture. I would upload a pin, choose image. I believe I have it down here as ingredients on my desktop. So I'm going to choose that. it will upload the image for me. I'm gonna still put it on Healthy Eats. I'm gonna go over here. I usually like to have 2 Pinterest tabs open at the same time, just so that this makes it easier. And I would highlight this because that was the same thing that I used. So highlight, go over here, paste it, pin it. Also pin it to Healthy Eats. What you need to do is you need to click See It Now, because when I click on this, because I uploaded it, it doesn't take it to an external link. So in order for this pin to be, because right now if I clicked on this picture, it's not going to take me anywhere, and that's the whole point of Pinterest. So now what I need to do is click Edit and copy the paste from your blog address, or copy the link from your blog address, paste it in here as the source, and then save your changes. Now that's going to take them somewhere. Before it wouldn't. So anyways, what I would do, I'll go back to my Pinterest now. So here I am. I already just pinned that on Healthy Eats. I'm going to pin it elsewhere so that it can get more traffic. My 21-day fix board is always busy. I'll put it there. I will also put it on my Max 30 just for the heck of it. So Insanity Max 30 pin. All right, so now I've populated that pin in a few different places. I would do the same thing with that extra picture that I just added on there. But that is how you sort of cheat Pinterest as far as uploading many pictures for one pin. It's time consuming, yes. Worth it, absolutely. So that's sort of how I do it. And then what you can do to see how you're doing is on Pinterest, you can search, and sometimes I can find my stuff and sometimes I can't. So I'm going to search up here for Insanity Max 30, I'll say meal plan. And you're going to get a million things coming up. You're going to see a lot of top coaches. Like Melanie Mitchell, her stuff is all over Pinterest because she does exactly what I just taught you how to do. So she's good at it. You want to be first. That's the key with these programs. If you want to journalize it on Pinterest, be first. Put all your pictures up, put them up all the time, use the hashtags, put your meal plans. Meal plans will get you the most action. But like right there. So like when you search for Insanity Max 30, you don't even get 3 rows down, and there's my creamy herb dressing, and I have 70 repins on it. And let me just tell you, that dressing is actually not that good, so I feel bad that everyone keeps repinning it, but it was only so-so. But it's up there, pretty high. This picture of my husband and I, up there, pretty high. Oh look, there we are again. Up and again. And again. So I'm telling you, it works. Yes, that was time consuming, but it totally works. So do it. You know, if you have a blog and you take a bunch of selfies of yourself and your food, put them up, be real, show people your journey, and you're going to find people who follow you, which could, there I am again, could in turn lead to business. So don't be afraid to post you. Okay, your whole life, put cool stuff on it, you know, put words. I'm all over this one. So put words, pictures, but that's the point, you know, that's the point, that people see me as somebody who kind of is a leader in this program. So look, my stuff is all over that board, which I think is a good thing. So anyways, that's how you can kind of go back and check on yourself. I don't know the secret. I always ask Melanie Mitchell that. I'm like, what is the secret? How do you get your stuff on the board close to the top? What's the secret sauce? And she's like, I don't know. She's like using the hashtags, posting lots of pictures from the same post. She was like, and just being consistent. But she said she sometimes can't figure it out either. So if you look at hers, some days, like here's one of Melanie's. So if you look at her description, whoops. If you look at a description from Melanie, sometimes she has hashtags, sometimes she doesn't, but she always is specific about what the post is about. Keywords like meal plan will get you higher up in the search engine optimization. So, in a nutshell, that's Pinterest. Use it to leverage your blog if you have a blog. So if you don't have a blog yet, worry less about Pinterest because you're not going to have anything you can, you know, sort of hook your content to, but a blog is a really, really powerful tool for your business, so I encourage you to get it. One last thing about your blog and your social media stuff. I think most of you probably realize this, but if I wanted to post that to Facebook, all I have to do is click that button. Facebook's going to do the same thing. They're going to pick one of those pictures from my post. They're going to use it. I'm going to say something about it. I'm going to post it on Facebook, and then boom, it's going to go out there. And what I can do is I can see how effective it is. So if I post out, like right now, I have not blasted that Mediterranean rice noodle dinner really anywhere. You just watched me put it on Pinterest, and I haven't put it on any of my social media sites. That's why there's only 4 views of it. Some things get more views than others. So like if you look at, here's my Insanity Max 30 stuff, you're looking at more like 200 something, whereas some of mine have like relatively nothing. Like I look at cauliflower. Nobody cares about cauliflower. There's only 15 views. Cashew and oat hotcakes, again, didn't really put it on social media. So anyways, it's cool to watch the traffic, especially like as you post it. It's cool to see if people are looking at it, even if they're not liking it on Facebook. And one last thing you can do is, you know, I showed you the Pinterest part. I showed you the Facebook, but you can also use, if you use Google Plus, which you have, you should, if you have a Google account and you have a blog, you have Google Plus, you can 1+ it on there, and I'll do a different call for us just on what Google Plus is. But anyways, sort of different ways you can optimize your social media. So I hope that that was helpful in regards to teaching you a little bit more about Pinterest. Definitely utilize this tool. You know, like I said, take some time, but it is really worth your efforts. All right, hope that was helpful.